Hey YouTube, how are we doing? It's Sam here for another property finance video for you, and today we're talking about how you can finance your commercial to residential conversion. So whether you've done this before or you're a complete newbie, stick around because I'm going to give you a ton of tips on how you can do this. Property is about patience. Hey guys, thanks so much for sticking around. Now before we get started, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. New videos come out every single week, and if you want to be notified when these come out, you can click on the little bell as well, and you'll actually be sent a notification to let you know that another property finance video is about to drop. So anyway, moving on to what I promised, which was discussing how you can fund a commercial to residential conversion. Now, these take the form of many different types. You might have an office block that you turn into a block of flats. You might have a pub that you're turning into an HMO. There's various different options here, but the fundamentals remain the same. Obviously, we work out everything as brokers on a case-by-case basis, but there's a few little things that you can keep in mind that are going to be relevant no matter what type of conversion that you're doing. Now, the first thing to consider when we're funding these is how much can we borrow? The most important figure that we need to figure out to start with is the GDV, the gross development value. When you finish doing this conversion, how much is it going to be valued at? And we need to be really precise with this, or as close to precise as we possibly can, because it's that figure that development finance lenders will lend against. So you've all heard the term loan to value, okay? If you're taking out a mortgage, you're taking out 75% loan to value, 75% of the value of the property. And it works in a similar way. We just call it L to GDV, loan to gross development value. Typically, lenders will lend between 50 and 65% of the gross development value. And this gets split into two main portions, okay? So the first portion is what we call our acquisition funds. These are money that's going to go towards the purchase of the site, okay? So this could be up to 75% depending on the lender. Now, the remainder is what we call our refurbishment or development aspect of it. Now, some lenders will actually lend up to 100% of the cost of the works that need to be done. But we need to make sure that those two loans together fit within the maximum loan to GDV, if that makes sense. So if 75% of the purchase price means that the cost of the works, adding those two together is still within the the loan to GDV limit, then great, we can fund 100% of the works. So as I said, it's majorly important that we know the gross development value. Now, the next kind of important thing is there planning needed? Is planning already in place, or can it be done via permitted development? Now, certain lenders will look at all three of those and lend on various different bases. But if you don't, the rule of thumbs are, if you don't have planning yet, we can still get a bridge for the acquisition with a lender who can say, well, look, once the planning has been agreed, then we can start looking at releasing the tranches of funds, but we won't until the planning is in place. Other lenders, if the planning is in place already, can organise the entire thing straight away. So basically, you purchase the property, you can begin work straight away, and they'll start drawing down tranches of funds to cover the cost of the works as they go. Or of course, there's a very similar way. If you only need permitted development (PD), then as long as we've got something in writing to say that there are permitted development rights for what you want to do, again, we can just start there, acquire and start the work straight away and start drawing down on that development finance element, which is really good. So that's kind of the first part, figuring out what the gross development value is, and then is there any planning restrictions, or is planning already in place, or is permitted development in place? Now, the next thing that we need to consider is your experience as a developer, okay? So there's two different sort of types of experience. There's relevant experience, and then there's sector experience. And we'll start with sector experience first. Sector experience might be that you are a builder. you are someone like me, like a mortgage broker or property finance broker. You might be a surveyor or something like that, or just simply, a builder. But so you've got experience of actually being part, or a project manager maybe, of course. You've got experience being part of these types of projects, but you've never been the principal developer. And that is what relevant experience is, that you have experience of being the principal developer. Now, both of these types of experience is important, but they're not weighted the same. Sector experience is weighted far less than principal experience. So drawing up a CV of your experience, including both, is majorly important. And the key really is the more you've got of both, the more lending options you're going to have, and the more lenders, the more chance of getting better terms effectively. So your experience is very important to try and find funding for this type of deal, this type of conversion. Now, the last thing to consider on this is what you're going to do at the end. So if you're converting, say, a pub into a large HMO, are you looking to sell this on to an HMO investor, or are you looking to maybe keep this and rent it out yourself? You need to figure that out pretty early doors, because we need to factor in, when we're applying for the finance to actually acquire and do the conversion, how that lender is going to be repaid. We call it our exit strategy. And it's very key to understand what that is going to be at the beginning, because if you are planning to refinance, we need to not only understand what kind of funding is going to be available for you at the other end. So for example, if it was that pub that's being turned into an HMO, do you have enough experience as an HMO landlord to warrant actually getting an HMO mortgage at the other end? Who knows? We need to figure that out at the beginning. It's all part of the process of actually acquiring the initial funding, is knowing what the second tranche of funding is going to look like. If you're going to sell the property, what's the market like? Are you actually likely to be able to sell this property within a particular period of time, or are you going to run out of time on your term and suddenly your development lender's breathing down your neck to repossess? We need to factor these kinds of things in. The other thing, as a little added extra tip, is it's also going to have an impact on the type of company that you set up to actually do this development. If you're looking to sell, it's probably going to be a trading entity. But if you decide halfway through, actually, we're going to keep this, many lenders, mortgage lenders, don't lend to trading companies. So then you're going to have to set up an SPV and convert it or transfer it in there, which could be quite costly, depending on how you do it. So having an idea of what you're going to do at the end is majorly important when it comes to even setting up the right type of limited company to take ownership of the site with. So I really hope that was helpful, guys. I know it's a bit of a quick video today on this subject, but it is, I think, with the onset of coronavirus and the pandemic and everything, there's been huge lifting of restrictions on these types of developments, and I think there's going to be a massive opportunity for all investors to look into these kind of commercial to residential conversions with all of the new permitted development that's available for these kinds of things. So if you've got any questions, don't forget, as always, drop them in the comments below, and I will be watching them, and I'll come and I'll answer them as quickly as I possibly can to let me know, even if you've done something like this and you've had any issues. Share with everyone the issues that you've had, and we can formulate an idea of how we can make sure that doesn't happen again. Or if you're a complete newbie and this is something that you're looking to try this year, any thoughts or feelings or questions you've got, drop them in the comments below. You can also send me a direct message on my Instagram, of course, as well, at the Sam Norris. The link is in the notes below. You can head over there, follow me, send a direct message to me, and ask me any questions you've got. I'm pretty responsive on there, to be honest with you. Don't forget as well, you can also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Sam Norris Property, and of course on Twitter at the Sam Norris as well. Same as my handle on Instagram. And feel free to send me direct messages on those platforms as well, although I probably will come back to you quickest on Instagram. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, if you did enjoy the video, share it. Tell people about it. Share it to your Instagram, share it to your Facebook, share it to your LinkedIn. Anyone that you think is going to be find this benefit. I think I got it the right way around. Feel free to share. I would love to share my knowledge with as many people as I possibly can. It's why I do this. And yeah, the more people that can get some benefit from it, the better for me, because I just love sharing my knowledge with the world. So wherever you are, have an awesome week, have a successful week, and I'll catch you on the next video. Cheerio.